Hey, hi, Bruce. Scoring first in soccer has obviously always been, a formula, considered a formula for success. You guys have really done that this year, but it hasn't always paid off. I don't know. How do you explain that?
Well, we've certainly made some mistakes at the end of games, which have cost us some valuable points, and that's probably my best explanation to it. We just have given away some really poor goals, and it's negated, the early goals that we've been able to score.
Next, we'll go to Jeff Lemieux from RevolutionSoccer.net. He'll be followed up by Sam Minton. Jeff, you're unmuted now.
Bruce, just how valuable was the time off for the guys, and especially ahead of a busy summer, and how did you try to utilize the past couple of weeks?
Well, I don't know how valuable it's going to be. I guess we're going to find out this week because we have 3 games in 8 days. Generally, you don't want a long layoff, and we didn't get one. So we wore 4 days, and then we got back to business, and hopefully with a little bit of time off and a little bit more preparation, we can be successful over the next 3 games. But you never know what time off means. Last year for the league playoffs, we had 3 weeks off, which was I thought hurtful and didn't help us in our preparation in the playoffs. But this time around, just having a little bit of a break, I think should be positive in the end.
Next, we'll go to Sam Minton from SB Nation. He'll be followed up by Jonathan Siegel. Sam, you're unmuted now.
Bruce, thank you for doing this. I just wanted to ask about the transfer of Adam Booth. So just wanted to get your overall thoughts on just how does this affect the team moving forward this season?
Well, I think it's a good move for the club and the player. How it affects the team, we think we're going to be able to move forward and have a successful season. So we're not going to dwell on it. We're in the business of soccer as well as in the business of competition. And transfers are all part of it, and I think it's a good opportunity for Adam, something he wanted, and certainly it's good for our club as well.
Next, we'll go to Jonathan Siegel from MLSsoccer.com. He'll be followed up by Jamie Rook. Jonathan, you're unmuted now.
Hey Bruce, thanks for the time as always. Just going off the books apart, wanted to ask about the summer outlook perhaps, and what your viewpoint is on how you all might bring in further reinforcements to supplement Adam's transfer out, and perhaps how Jozy fits into this picture, because his signing seems to play a big part of this kind of broader picture about the future.
Well, we were well aware in the beginning of the year that there was a likelihood of Adam moving on during the summer transfer window, and that was one of the reasons Jozy came to New England, and we felt Jozy was going to need up till June to get fit. So his number's going to get called in the near future, and hopefully it helps bring some positive results for us. The return of Gustavo Bo is also helpful. So I think we're in good shape there, and naturally we will use the next transfer window to hopefully supplement our roster. There's a few positions we think we can strengthen. I'm sorry. I'm not sure which one which one or a couple that we'll decide to fill, but we're actively looking at potential transfer moves for the July window.
All right, we'll take 2 more questions. First, we'll go to Jamie Rook, and we'll wrap up with Frank DeLapa. Jamie, you're unmuted now. It looks like we lost Jamie, so we'll go to Frank DeLapa right away here. Frank?
Frank?
Great, Bruce. I just want to get your take on just how unusual has this season been. You've played in snowstorms, and I think it's going to be like in the 90s when you go to Kansas City, and the season's not even halfway over. You just losing 2 players via transfers. How unusual has this one been?
It's been very unusual. I think our whole preseason was disturbed by Champions League, and the forfeiting of the first couple of games hurt us. We were left idle here in Foxborough for a couple of weeks in conditions where we couldn't practice outdoors, and then we started playing games which, were a mess in the early going. And obviously the travel down to Mexico was challenging, but and we've had these injuries. We lost our best goalkeeper, our best defender, and arguably our best goal scorer as well for most of the year. So it's been really strange in terms of all of that. And I give our guys a lot of credit. We've hung in there. So our heads are still above water, and I think there's a lot of positive moments ahead for our team.
For our last question, we'll go to Tom from WPRO. Tom, you're unmuted.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Coach, good to see you. Just talk about, and I know you probably talked a lot about Adam today, but just with reinvesting into the club, a lot of this is new monies, and a lot of this is, new for a lot of fans. And just, can you talk about where the reinvestment goes to? Because, I think a lot of people don't know what you guys do behind the scenes when you bring this money in.
Well, one example would be Dylan Barreiro, who we brought in from Atlético Mineiro in Brazil. He's a Colombian player, a young player, 20 years old, and a player with a bright future. That's part of it. Petrovic, our goalkeeper, was brought in. Those are resources there. We've improved our academy and second team programs. We continue to improve the staffing and the funding in those programs. And we're also positioned now to bring in other players because we have a DP slot open. Obviously, our facility here, we continue to improve. So that money is utilized in a lot of areas. But having said that, our ownership group doesn't need dollars from transfers, to be honest with you, to keep moving our club forward. That's never been our intent on why we had transfers. We thought those opportunities were good for the players as well as our club, but it wasn't necessary. We don't believe that these transfers are imperative for us to continue operating. We don't think that at all. But when those opportunities exist and it makes sense for both the club and the player, we'll do it. But we have and will continue to reinvest those resources into the club in a variety of ways.